Howdy fellas, this is B Junior from B Junior's Movie Cave. Back in the cave today to do a little Blu-ray overview. The new Scream Factory release of Prison. That's right guys, doing it on the old desk table here. Should lend itself pretty good to the video. A little bit of history here. Prison is a movie that's not had a wide release at all on DVD or home video or anything. I'm being honest with you guys, this is the first time I've ever seen Prison. Starring Viggo Mortensen, Chelsea Field, Lane Smith, Tiny Lister from he was Zeus in No Holds Barred, and he was in the movie Friday, or in the Friday movies with Ice-T. Whole other bunch of smaller roles have been filled by a lot of 80s and 90s type folks, character actors, that type of thing. Basically, that is to its credit, it not being a widely released movie. This is its first big time release on home video, and it's also to its discredit because mainly I'd never seen this movie before. And let me just say, story wise, before we get too much into the Blu-ray features and stuff, the Blu-ray goodness if you will, Scream Factory hands down has done an awesome job with their presentation. It's chock full as any of the other collector's editions that you would expect to have. The thing about it is, story-wise, this is a movie I'm glad to have in the collection, and I'm not saying I didn't like the film. I'm just kind of, had I seen Prison probably when I was when this came out around 1988 or so theatrically, if I had seen it around that time frame, I've been in my early teens, about 13, 14 years old. That being said, I probably would have thought this movie was just super awesome and like had a better following to it. Seeing it now in my 30s, it's kind of like, yeah, I respect it because it's 80s stuff and it's cheesy, kind of like movies that I like. But it's like something's missing. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's not the worst. It's something that I can pull out and watch every once in a while and not really feel like it's a super summer blockbuster or anything like that. Horror has a new home. Essentially, the story is kind of around Viggo Mortensen's character. He's a kind of a new inmate come to this prison that is basically there, and the story unfolds. There is a kind of a flashback scene at the first of the movie where this convict is basically executed, and whenever he's executed, his ghost basically comes back to haunt the prison. And whenever it does, it incorporates a lot of cool lightning effects, things of that nature, but it also, hey, it's the dogs. Check them out. Yeah. The dogs made an appearance in the video. Cool. That's okay, babe. Getting back to business here, guys. Yeah, children. Little furry kids, you know. Anyway, Prison. There he is, the electrocuted, this is his form towards the end of the movie. I don't want to ruin it too much, but it is basically a ghost story set in prison. Basically where there's a lot of cool lightning effects, practical effects, things like that. It takes on a lot of slasher elements where some of the inmates are picked off one by one, that type of thing. And basically, horror ensues. I don't want to ruin too much of it. I can honestly say this is the only horror movie that I've ever noticed that's been set in and around a prison. And it's aptly named Prison. So, without further ado, let's get into the Blu-ray goodness here. As you come to enjoy with the Scream Factory presentations, they always have this cool newly commissioned artwork that's on the covers or slip covers. They also have the reversible original poster art or cover art. And there is the original art, which is almost as cool as the newly commissioned artwork. They incorporate that into the new one very well, in my opinion. It's just simply a skull with bars for the eyes and prison incorporated into the teeth. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, I'll always love those options of reversible cover art because I'm a nerd and I like stuff like that. Slip covers are cool too. They're not a requirement, but they are pretty cool. It gives you, of course, a synopsis on the back. I love these Scream Factory Blu-rays and DVD combo packs. Of course, it's 1080p, high definition widescreen, 1781 ratio for the Blu-ray, DTS HD Master Audio Stereo. And the DVD, of course, same aspect ratio, Dolby Digital stereo track. Special features include audio commentary with director Rennie Harlan. Hard Time, The Making of Prison, an all-new retrospective documentary with director Rennie Harlan, producer Erwin Yablon, screenwriter C. Courtney Joyner, story coordinator Kane Hodder, aka Jason, executive producer Charles Band, composer Richard Band, and many more. It's basically it's a beefy featurette that kind of goes over the whole retrospective. There again, if this had been throughout the years one of my favorites, I think I would have appreciated it. You know, kind of this overall getting to see it again and all that kind of stuff. But this being my first time seeing it, they're kind of talking lovingly about this film, and rightfully so. You're still getting the goods that you would want in one of these Scream Factory behind the scenes features, aptly done by Red Shirt Pictures, Michael Felcher's company. It's just that my personal opinion on the story is just it's a mediocre storyline. The movie itself turned out to be about what I expected, but it's just not something that I'm not looking forward to it as much as probably Phantasm 2 or They Live that's come out, The Funhouse, movies that I've loved all through those years. But not to its discredit, it is a decent horror film. It's just not the first one I would actually run right out and get. If you want an introductory Scream Factory title, I'd highly recommend picking up Halloween 2 or 3, The Funhouse, or maybe even They Live to start, and just kind of try it on for size, see how you like it before you get into Terror Train, Deadly Blessing, Death Valley, and some of these other ones that have come out. Anyway, moving on to special features, poster and still gallery, original first draft screenplay, and PDF format. So if you want to read the whole entire screenplay, they've got it there too. Really enjoyed the backstory on this because it's like the 6 degrees of separation in movie making. John Carl Buechler did a lot of the special effects and practical effects on the film, and of course Kane Hodder was a stunt coordinator and also did the main ghost appearance at the end of the movie. He was the electrocuted ghost convict that was wreaking havoc throughout the whole movie. Shows up at the end and he's in a suit and all that. The thing about it is, with John Carl Buechler and him having that relationship, like I think not even a year later, John Carl Buechler got hired to direct Friday 7, which we all know that was the first time Kane Hodder became Jason. So things like that happen throughout the film, or throughout the documentary, and kind of you get a feel for how this one came to be. And they actually talk a little bit about how this one kind of faded into obscurity, because even though I haven't seen Prison, I have heard about this movie for a decade plus. I mean, I've heard about it. It's Rennie Harlan's first major film in the U.S. and yada yada yada. So, but finally now, way I'm gonna leave this one as far as story wise. If you are a Prison nut, I mean, if you love prison movies or slasher movies, or if Prison is your favorite movie or long lost movie gem, I'd say highly recommend picking this one up, because this is the version that you want to pick up instead of those old bootlegs that are out there and stuff like that. But now, if you haven't bought any Scream Factory, if you've never heard of the movie Prison, I would probably start with another Scream Factory title. I'm just going to leave you that way story-wise and kind of the presentation-wise. Chock full of special features. They've done a 100% A+ job on the presentation, just like with the rest of them. But it's just story-wise, for me personally, it's just kind of a mediocre horror movie. I'm just going to leave you that way. For purists only, or for people who like ghost stories like myself, you probably want to incorporate it into the old collection. Now, the lowdown on the PQ and SQ, picture quality, sound quality. The Blu-ray picture quality, I gotta say, this one is a really good looking one, guys. On a 4-star scale, I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 for an older movie. It looks really good. It's just a step down from a 4.0 grade. Sound quality, I'm going to give it a solid 3.0 stars out of 4. It sounded great on the soundbar in the man cave. A lot of the sound effects, the practical sound effects, things crashing, walls breaking, things like the electrocution things, the lightning effects, sound crystal clear. As I said before, A+ on the presentation, man. You cannot go wrong. If Prison's your game, this is the one to buy. Rock on, dudes, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.